Shalom Spitad is also Thousand Yahweh, and it's the Monday Night History class. Today's topic is going to be on the Sioux Indians, or the Sioux Native Americans, right? This is another one of our tribes of Gad, and we'll basically get into it, all right? So, people think, that they are living good, that, that, because you'll see casinos on those different lands, but we're going to show you how they're really living. And people think, they don't understand they actually living in poverty. Sometimes even worse poverty than even black people are living in, So we're going to get into it. All right, Sioux, a broad alliance of North American Indian peoples who spoke 3 related languages within the Sioux family. The name Sioux is an abbreviation of Nada-Sioux, a name originally applied to them by the Ojibwa. The Santee, also known as the Eastern Sioux, were Dakota speakers and comprised the Medicantu, Wahpeton, Wapakut, and Sisseton. The Yankton, who spoke Lakota, included the Yankton and the Yanktonai. The Teton, also referred to as the Western Sioux, spoke Lakota and had 7 divisions. The Sahasapa, or Blackfoot, Brule, Hunkpapa, Miniconju, Oglala, Sanzart, and Unampa, or Tukel. The Sioux way of life. Before the middle of the 17th century, the Santee Sioux lived in an area around Lake Superior, where they gathered wild rice and other foods, hunted deer and buffalo, and speared fish from canoes. Prolonged and continual warfare with Ojibwa to the east drove the Santee into what is now southern and western Minnesota. At that time, the territory of agricultural Teton and Yankton. In turn, the Santee forced these 2 groups from Minnesota into what are now North and South Dakota. Horses were becoming common in the plains during this period, and the Teton and the Yankton abandoned agriculture in favor of an economy centered in a nomadic hunting bison. All right. Traditionally, the Teton and the Yankton share many cultural characteristics with other nomadic plains Indian societies. They lived in teepees, wore clothing made from leather, suede, or fur, and traded buffalo products for corn or maize, produced by the farming tribes of the plains. The Sioux also raided those tribes frequently, particularly in the Mandan, Arikara, Hidatsa, and Pawnee, actions that eventually drove the agriculturists to ally themselves with the U.S. military against the Sioux tribes. So, of course, we line up with our enemies to go against our own brothers. So,
right.
We can't get ourselves together. So, this oppressor, he tries to say, okay, well, we're going to fight against you with them. Pre-contact Sioux culture. Sioux men acquired status by performing brave deeds in warfare. Horses and scalps obtained in a raid were evidence of valor. Sioux women were skilled at porcupine, quill, and bead embroidery. Favoring geometric designs, they also produced prodigious members of processed bison hides in the 19th century, when the trade value of these buffalo robes increased dramatically. Community policing was performed by the men's military societies, the most significant duty of which was to oversee the buffalo hunt. Women's societies generally focused on fertility, healing, and overall well-being of the group. Other societies focused on ritual dance and shamanism. So that's like so they would have like a military, they would have, the women, they would do, take care of everybody, probably do some of the nursing, just keep everybody up. And they had the shamanism. Well, shamanism just means like you had their priests, roughly. All right. Religion was an integral part of all aspects of Sioux life, and it was for all Native American peoples. The The Sioux recognized four powers presiding over the universe, and each power in turn was divided into hierarchies of four. The buffalo had a prominent place in all Sioux rituals. Among the Teton and Santi, the bear was also a symbolically important animal. Bear power obtained in the vision was regarded as curative, and some groups enacted a ceremonial bear hunt to protect warriors before their departure on the raid. Warfare and supernaturalism were closely connected, to the extent that designs suggested in mystical visions were painted on war shields to protect the bearers from their enemies. The annual sun dance was the most important religious event, the beginning of the struggle for the West. Having suffering the encroachment from Ojibwa, the Sioux were extremely resistant to incursions upon their new territory. Teton and Yankton territory included the vast area between the Missouri River and the Teton Mountains, and between the Platte River on the south and the Yellowstone River on the north, i.e. are all parts of present-day states of Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado, and Wyoming. This territory was increasingly broached as the colonial frontier moved westward past the Mississippi River in the mid-19th century. The California Gold Rush of 1849 opened a floodgate of travelers, and many Sioux became incensed by the U.S. government's attempt to establish the Bozeman Trail and other routes through the tribe's sovereign land. So basically, they had a sovereign land that they were supposed to not be able to go through. This was going to be their land that they could live on, but then they'll just make routes right through it, and they didn't like them doing that, because of course when they, whenever they set up a route, they're going to probably come in, rape the women, try to attack, take whatever they can, of course, and they didn't want them in there. Because, like Native Americans, a lot of them, they hated the oppressor. They hated them, which they should hate them. There's nothing wrong with hate. Christianity teaches you hate, but then tries to say you're supposed to love everybody.
Right.
But they teach you what the real hate is. They teach you the bad hate. They teach you to hate your brothers. We teach you to hate your enemies.
Right.
Your actual enemy. You can hate him. That is not a sin. The only sin is you hate your brother without a cause, and the oppressor hates your brother.
Right.
All right. The United States sought to forestall strife, negotiating the first treaty of Fort Laramie with the Sioux and other Plains peoples. The treaty assigned territories to each tribe throughout the northern Great Plains and set terms for building of forts and roads within the region. In accordance with the treaty, the Santee Sioux gave up most of their land in Minnesota in exchange for annuities and other considerations. They were restricted to a reservation and encouraged to take up agriculture, but government mismanagement of the annuities, depleted game reserves, and the general resistance to an agricultural lifestyle combined to precipitate starvation on the reservation by 1862. So they said it was going to give them annuities, which, give them money, give them something, right? All these things they promised they were going to give them. But of course, they lied. They didn't give them anything. They let them sit there and starve. They would go hunt their, their food, the buffalo and the deer. They would go hunt them, right? Like, they didn't have no hunting season over there. They just said, you just go do whatever you want to, just go hunt them, right? So now they don't have food to eat. Now they're starving.
Right.
And this ain't even long. This is what, 5 years, something like that? Shoot, and they starving now. That year, with many settler men away fighting the Civil War, Santee warriors under the leadership of Chief Little Crow mounted a bloody attempt to clear their traditional territory of outsiders. U.S. troops soon pacified the region, but only after more than 400 settlers, 70 U.S. soldiers, and 30 Santee had been killed. More than 300 Santee were condemned to death for their roles in what became known as the Sioux Uprising. although President Lincoln commuted the sentences of most of these men. 38 Santee were ultimately hanged in the largest mass execution in U.S. history. After the defeat, the Santee were relocated to reservations in Dakota Territory and Nebraska. So they went to go fight to get their land back because they gave them the part of the land that they were starving. So they just trying to get their land back so that they can eat. They starving.
Right.
And they go and they hang them, they kill them. Right? If they would have kept what they said they was gonna do, kept their word, which you know they can't do. It's like them keeping their word is like it's like you can't, or you better not hold your breath.
Right.
So, and then they blame them for trying to eat. Now they're the victim, right? What the Bible say? Your oppressors slay you and hold themselves not guilty.
Right.
So because now they gonna call this a crime, so they gonna slay them, and now I'm not guilty because he killed our people. They don't go back to the reason why they were fighting and had a war. They don't go back to the reason. They go to, well, you killed some of our people, so we gonna hang y'all. Put the rest of y'all in prison.
So like y'all want.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and bring that out in Zechariah 11:5.
Right.
Whose oppressors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
Yep.
And their own shepherds pity them not.
Exactly. That's right there. That's the truth right there. They got sold. Now everything like it's a manifold scripture, of course, right? They got sold a dream, man. They got sold into, because you know what they were supposed to provide them, right? They were supposed to provide them with schools, housing, right? All these things. Just like they were supposed to give them blankets, but they laced it with smallpox.
So like it's heavy you say that because black folks in the world get sold a dream every 4 years. They get a new president. They tell them all that, we're going to give you this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then they get in office and don't do nothing. We still get sold dreams out here. So like it.
Yeah. We want to hear, even, it's another scripture where they say, like they basically say Israel don't want to hear the truth. Speak to us smooth things.
See if I can find that.
Let's put in smooth things.
Smooth things, come on, concert.
So it says speak to us smooth things. And we don't want to hear what the truth is. And the truth is our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
That's the truth. We don't want to deal with that, man. Like, we think we being dishonorable when you saying you hate our oppressor, man. But you can hate a dishonorable man. He's dishonorable. He's meant to be dishonored. Right?
Got that scripture when you read that one.
Okay, go ahead.
The book of Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not.
So the seers, we the seers. Our brothers, like, they don't want to hear what we say. They don't want to hear what we say. We see things that's going on. Keep going.
Come. See not.
They don't want us to see it. Don't see nothing. Keep your eyes closed. Keep going.
Come. And to the prophets prophesy, not unto us right things.
So the people that's prophesying don't prophesy right things. Don't tell us the truth. Keep going.
Come. Speak unto us smooth things.
Smooth things. It sound good. It's that dream, right? Because you dream. They selling you a dream of heaven. You thinking of, nice houses. You're gonna be living in a nice community. You're gonna have a swimming pool outside. All your kids gonna go, because like basically they were forced to integrate. Like it was either integrate or keep going to war. So when they took all of their food, starved them out, killed a lot of them, gave them diseases, and then when they finally submitted, they said, okay, when we gonna make an agree. Finally made an agreement. They were supposed to give them the American way of life. What you supposed to have? Schools, grocery stores. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to have all these things: schools, grocery stores. What else? Jobs.
Shopping malls, a lot.
Yeah, shopping malls, all of that. Retail stores. You're supposed to be able to get all of that. But what did they give them? Nothing. They kept the money. So they want to talk about an Indian giver.
Yeah, right.
Probably shouldn't say this, but
right.
It sounds like a cracker giver right there. That's I want to call it a cracker giver. It's a lot here.
Devil givers, a lot.
Devil givers. There you go. Shoot. They don't even give. They at least the Indians, they gave. So yeah, they don't even give, man. Liars, man. Alright.
Also, go on that scripture, one.
Okay, go ahead.
And it says, prophesy deceits.
And prophesy deceits. Give us lies.
Come.
It said, give us lies. Don't give us the truth. Prophesy to us deceits. Things that's going to deceive us. Alright? Like, joining our oppressor is going to make us have a happier life. You're going to live better, signing up with our oppressor. Well, he said he's going to do this. But what's his track record? What's his track record? Never doing what he said he was going to do. That's his track record, right?
Come.
Liar. Deceiver. So you should have never believed him in the first place. Alright? Although the native peoples of the plains had putatively accepted some development in the West by agreeing to the terms of the first treaty of Fort Laramie, many were soon dissatisfied with the extent of encroachment on their land. In 1865 to 67, the Oglala chief Red Cloud led thousands of Sioux warriors in a campaign to halt construction of the Bozeman Trail. In December 1866, warriors under Chief High Backbone drew a U.S. military patrol from Fort Field Kearny into an ambush. The patrol's commanding officer, Captain William J. Fetterman, ignored warnings that the Sioux had often used apparently injured riders as decoys to draw their enemies into poorly defensible locations. Fetterman led his men in chase of such a decoy. An entire group of some 80 U.S. soldiers was killed. The decoy was Crazy Horse, already displaying the characteristics that later made him a major military leader among his people. The worst U.S. defeat on the plains to that point. The so-called Fetterman Massacre reignited the anti-Indian sentiment that had flared in the eastern states after the Sioux uprising in 1862. The terms of the Second Treaty of Fort Laramie in 1868 explicitly acknowledged that the West was proven a very expensive and difficult place to develop. The United States agreed to abandon the Bozeman Trail and guaranteed the Sioux people exclusive possession of the present state of South Dakota west of the Missouri River. When gold was discovered in the Black Hills of South Dakota in the mid-1870s, however, thousands of miners disregarded the treaty and swarmed into the Sioux reservation, thus precipitating another round of hostilities. So they're not fighting you because they're not going anywhere to fight. They're fighting you because you're on their land that you said that you were going to let them have. They let you have everything else. You got all of the resources. You got all of that, right? But then you want to come and take with the little that they have. You want to do that. It's even a story in the Bible. It's when King David, right? And he said it was a story in there where Samuel was checking King David when he was telling him that basically that there was a rich man. He had one, a rich man. He had a bunch of lamb, a bunch of sheep, and there's one man. He had one lamb that he was proud of, and that rich man stole his lamb. Right? He stole the one thing he had. He had all his other wealth. He had to come and take that. Right? And so that's the same thing how our oppressor did. But you even see David. He even when he told it to him, he even confessed, say, I have sinned. I did wrong. He repented what he did. But our oppressor, he ain't gonna never repent for what he did. That's why the Most High gotta destroy him. Because he not even going, he don't even feel bad. Just like the scriptures say, they gonna kill you and say, glory to God, he killed you. All right? Let me see something. Just talking about Esau right here, Obadiah 1 and 5. Obadiah 1 and 5. If thieves came to thee, and if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen until they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So he's comparing it to people that are thieves and robbers, that they only gonna take until they have enough. But our oppressor, he don't leave no grapes. He don't leave nothing. Right? He got 98.9% of the land.
Right.
And he want that 1% because he had a little bit of gold on it.
Right.
So now it's okay to go back on their land and go against his own word that he brought to the Native Americans.
Right. That's like if I may have one.
Right.
It's crazy how, like you said, the oppressor, he take over everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he put us in these ghettos and these neighborhoods. And now you want to gentrify them, and you want to move back into them neighborhoods that you done put us in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You put us in the corner, now you want to move back into the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's whatever. I don't know what the oppressor thinks, but that's crazy. You just want everything. You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave.
Not a grape. They don't want to leave nothing. Boy. We can't even, like, he want the rotten grape. The one that's all shriveled up
right.
on the vine.
Right,
we want that too. We want all of them. Just like you said, here they doing the same thing. This is a reservation. It's the same thing. Right?
Right.
And just the only thing is they didn't have no land to put us on. That's it. The Battle of the Little Bighorn and the Cessation of War. The Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876, a large contingent of Sioux and Cheyenne warriors again took advantage of the hubris of U.S. officers overwhelming Lieutenant Colonel George A. Custer and 200 men of the 7th Cavalry. This definitive indigenous victory essentially sealed the fate of the tribes by instigating such shock and horror among the American citizens that they demanded unequivocal revenge. The so-called Plains Wars essentially ended later in 1876 when American troops trapped 3,000 Sioux at the Tongue River Valley. The tribes formally surrendered in October, after which the majority of members returned to their reservations. In spite of the surrender of most Sioux bands, the chief Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and Gal refused to take their people to the reservations. Crazy Horse surrendered in 1877, only to be killed later that year while resisting arrest for leaving the reservation without authorization. So, you see that they killed them for resisting arrest. That's why, like, when it comes to Israelites, you resisting arrest, that's like a death sentence on you. It's the same thing with us and the Native Americans. They say he was resisting arrest. So I got a right to put a bullet in the back of his head. He's resisting arrest, right? But you see here, they can come on their reservation whenever they felt like it. And nobody arrested them. You didn't see nothing about no devils getting arrested by going on their land that they signed a treaty for. They signed a treaty as well, but they go on their land. But if the Native Americans got offered that reservation, now all hell gotta break loose now, right? That's the same way the police, like, if you in the street, supposed to be in a quote unquote good neighborhood, you go around there and they say, "What you doing here, boy?" And like they pull you over, driving while black, right? This not the right neighborhood for you. They wonder what you doing there. The same thing they did with the Native Americans, man. He was reportedly transporting his ill wife to her parents' home. Sitting Bull and Gal escaped to Canada for several years, returning to the United States in 1881 and surrendering without incident. In 1890 to 91, the ghost dance religion began to take a strong hold among the Sioux people. It promised the coming of a Messiah, the disappearance of all people of European descent from North America, the return of large buffalo herds and a lifestyle they supported, and reunion with the dead. The new religion had great appeal. Most of the Sioux bands had suffered harsh privations while confined to reservations. Game had all but disappeared. The supplies and annuities promised in treaties were frequently stolen by corrupt officials, and many people lived almost continuously on the verge of starvation. But you see the religion, the ghost dance religion, it's just kind of interesting. So the ghost dance religion told them of a coming Messiah and the disappearance of all devils. They was all gonna leave, right? And it was gonna be a return of the large buffalo herds and everything, right? All of that, and the reunion of the dead, right? Because they coming back. Those dead natives and all the other brothers, they gonna come back. We gonna be having a reunion with our brothers, man. All right. Alright. Believing that the ghost dance religion threatened an already uneasy peace, U.S. government officials set out to arrest its leaders. In 1890, Sitting Bull was ordered to stay away from ghost dance gatherings. He stated that he intended to defy the order and was killed as Lakota policemen attempted to take him into custody. When the revitalized U.S. 7th Cavalry, Custer's former regiment, massacred more than 200 Sioux men, women, and children at Wounded Knee Creek. Later that year, the Sioux ceased military resistance. So they went and killed all of those people, man. Over 200. The warrior ethic continued among the Sioux tribes throughout the 20th century, with many people, women as well as men, serving in the U.S. military. However, Sioux individuals did not take up arms against the U.S. government again until 1973, when a small group of American Indian Movement members occupied the community of Wounded Knee, exchanging gunfire with federal marshals and demanded their surrender. Early 21st century population indicates in the some 160,000 individuals of Sioux descent. There's probably millions of them, not even with it. 160,000. Right. Okay. I'm gonna show a couple videos.
Red Cloud Good. I come to you from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, prisoner of war camp 334. Reservation is a fancy word for concentration camp and where we are to now, today.
He said a reservation is a fancy word for concentration camp. But they want to concentrate you, keep you in one spot, to make sure you, if you try to leave, you know, you gonna have like, you think that they could just leave. They can't leave. For one, where they're gonna go. They don't have any money to leave. They barely have money to survive. They basically living in a third world country inside of America. Right? So where they're gonna go, that's the first thing. And don't think they don't have policemen not letting them leave.
Right, come.
Right? So I'm sixth generation descent of Red Cloud. Right now in 2021, we still have a lot of houses out there that don't have running water. We still have a lot of houses out there that don't have any plastics on the door, that don't have any glass on the window.
And I did say we don't really have economic development. Here we have 2 stores, some communities don't have any, so they have to travel. Like here we're about 76, 80 miles in a shortcut way to Rapid City, but that's still a long ways. I mean, that's 100 and some miles just to go after food. We live in extreme poverty.
So they gotta go 160 miles to the nearest city just to get some food, man. They don't have any stores. They were promised all of these things, to have all of these different things so they can, you know, live. And they already killed all of the buffalo. All of the buffalo they're killed or killing. So they don't even have anything to eat. They can't even hunt buffalo.
And so we don't have nutritious meals every day. We may have, people may have one at least, but not every day, and people struggle with the food. Imagine only 10% of the population are employed. I mean, can you just imagine all these other families?
All those jobs, only 10% of people are employed. 10%. All those jobs promised
are not having a job. So how are they surviving? I think a lot of times when we go off reservation and we do find employment, we encounter racism. Whether that's in the job, whether that's in finding housing, or being stable in that job, and the perception that they have. And we hear this all the time, that we get government freebies. You know, we're handed these things. What are we handed? We gave up our land for these treaties to be made. So say, for example, like Black Hills, they were stolen illegally. Look at all the money that they're making.
So they have, just like we showed Black Hills, they were supposed to be given those hills, but they stole those hills from them, man, illegally, according to them, right? But they'll let them commit a crime, right? Where they going? Under the prison. They serving 30 years, right? But America can just do whatever they want. If they find gold on those reservations, guess where everybody going? To that reservation. The gold or oil is found that they have it. That's where they're going. And it was a couple of years ago, they had a whole issue about them building a pipeline that's gonna go right through their river. They got one river that they could go through, but they wanted to go through the Native Americans river. And then they know those things always leak. So the little bit of substance they get from the river, they could plant a little bit, drink the water from the river. They want to make it a chance that they can get poisoned by the oil. But they can send it through the rich side of town. It's a well-to-do part of town in the Dakotas. They don't want it to go to them.
All our resources, stolen resources.
We're a people that have always evolved through 500 years of oppression, 500 years of the attempt to eliminate us from the very existence of being on the prairie to being where we are today. We are the survivors of the Wounded Knee Massacre. We are the survivors of the Battle of the Little Bighorn. We have always been here, and we will continue to be here through the generations.
Yeah, that's why I don't even have no respect for those celebrities. They go way over to Africa and try to save them damn Hamites. And you got people living in third world country right here where you at. Your own brothers right here living in third world country. You ain't Oprah. She ain't built them a school. Why she ain't built them though? They ain't even got all of them. They ain't even got running water. But you know they go rush over to Africa to go build stuff there.
How long have you been in this one?
We've been here for like, what, about 2.5 years, like 2.5 years.
Look how they living, man.
Going on the outside. So just so I understand, Marnie, do you have running water now?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's
You got
plumbing and
running
running water. Well, my brother that's in jail, he kind of drank a lot, so he would come over and would have to throw him in jail because I don't drink. I don't use drugs or nothing. I kind of just am here for the kids. And I love them because, like, our kids, I don't know, they bring their friends and their friends come to stay. Like, some of them come from broken homes too around here. So sometimes on weekends, I have, like I told you, I have like 20, 21, 22 kids here. So
22 kids.
Some of my friends
live
all
right
call
here.
me Mother Hubbard, so always taking in more kids.
22 kids could be in there.
It's hard living down here. All the suicides, all the people that you see go through the funeral home.
Yep.
And then now I lost my brother. But with him passing away, I knew he was depressed. I don't want to say he had an addiction. Maybe he did. Maybe it was just to numb the pain. You know, it's hard. You know, you have all these young kids killing themselves.
All these just bodies is laying around because they killing themselves off, man. Suicide, because they living in squalor, man. Right? They living in hell. This is hell, man. They felt that they'd rather be dead than live through this, man.
My name is Yahanna. I and my colleague Eileen Janice work together in suicide prevention. I also assist at a burger joint called Out of Bounds in Pine Ridge, where many of our youth who work there are at risk. My Lakota name is One Who Saves Lives, and I've never connected it. And the spiritual leader said, you know, you have no fear, and you're out there to save young people. You're out there to save lives, to save families. What was your life like before you come to work for us?
Had so much free time, you know, like I didn't know what to do with it, so it made me sad. But after working here, my mental health started getting a lot better, and I started going the right way, like the right path in life.
How many times have we sent you to institutions for your self-harm?
3
times?
My last time I was sent off, it was January 23rd, so a few months ago.
So a few months ago, they sent him to institutions because he tried to end his life, man. They keep sending him different places because of that. That's how bad they doing over there, man. And all he wants is a job. He get a job and he doing better because at least for him being able to work, he feels like he's able to do something. Something can happen. But what they do is they make it damn near impossible for them to own any type of business on the reservation. That's why they don't have any businesses on the reservation. They hit them with a bunch of different, you gotta get, you know how they have their policies, right? They'll have, you gotta get this permit, that permit, you gotta get a permit to build on the, on Native American ground, you gotta get a permit for this, permit for that. And by the time they hit them with all those permits, they can't afford to get, open up their business. They already starving, already can't eat, and you expect them to be able to pay for, you gotta have inventory, you gotta have all these things to have a business, right? And then you gotta pay all these damn fines and permits to open it up that nobody else has to do, right?
If you want to go, yeah.
But you're doing better now.
Yeah,
We have good days.
yeah, having better
bad
days.
March of 2020, the ideations and the attempts just soared. Sometimes I could take 7 calls a night. Eileen could take the same amount. And some of our crisis response workers take calls too. So it's not just Eileen and I.
There's no magic
So,
words.
when Corona hit, it was even worse.
Magical that we can do to take it all away, and it's something we all need to go through, and it's hard. We cry with them. We go through it with them.
He is alive, but he's on meth. You have to remember he has an addiction. It's not him. But it's dangerous to put him in your home because you'll be in harm's way again.
What does this remind you of? This remind you of the 80s in the projects in the hood. How come they can't, no job can get found over in this area, but drugs gonna definitely find their way in there, right? How they get money for drugs? How do they get all of that? How does that get here? And businesses or whatever, stores can't get here, but drugs get here, right? They keep you high.
Well, we're gonna look for him and we'll get back to you, okay? And keep Eileen and I in your prayers, because we need prayers. Okay, we'll see ya.
There's just a level of poverty here that a lot of people don't understand. You watch things on TV and, you and I see those things and that's normal. Whereas there's a lot of young people down here that's a dream. Mainly people are taking their own lives due to the point of not having any social interactions with each other, school closures, not being able to have that.
So now they can't even, so this was during the Corona, so when they closed down everything, now they didn't have any social interaction. They couldn't see their friends. That was a little bit of, pleasure that they were able to have. They weren't able to do that, so all of the suicides just went soaring high. But you ain't gonna hear about this.
That connection with their friends, it was taken away.
There is a beautiful side to the reservation. It isn't all hardship. You can look at this place as beautiful just as much as you look at it, as much as you hate it.
Sad story. That's how our brothers is living, man. Exactly how they living, man. Terribly. Terribly living, man. So that's how they living terribly, man. And everybody, and they give out the impression like they're getting subsidies from the government and getting money, getting school, getting free food, that they're being well taken care of. This don't like getting well taken care of to me. They're like you starving. But I think I heard somebody join the conference call. Somebody on there? Yeah, go ahead.
I used to be with
What's going on, huh?
What's going on with yourself?
What's going on?
haven't been anywhere else. I just listen.
God. Don't sound crazy. You been 12 up? I said you been 12?
Yes, sir. Kind of long.
Okay. All right then. Hopefully we get to see you back up here sometime. All right.
I'll be back soon, sir.
All right, God, don't sound crazy. All right. So that's the hell that our brothers is living in, man. Like you thought projects was bad. These is projects on steroids right here.
Yeah, right.
And terrible. And they used to be able to be free, get as much food. They never had starvation.
Right.
Cause they would get berries, they would get fruit, and then they can trade with the other Native American brothers and get, because other natives, they had more agriculture going on. So they would trade with each other, cause they were the hunters over there. So they would go hunt the buffalo. They would trade the hides and whatever else they would make to other brothers, and they would get fruits, berries, vegetables. Right. So they had a good diet. You know what I'm saying?
So like Yahanna, like I know some of them reservations, right?
Mm-hmm.
They deny them like alcohol and shit. Like you can't have alcohol and drugs on the reservations. But you know what that make them want to do more? Get more drugs, more alcohol. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, it found its way on there.
Yeah, it's gonna find its way. That's what I'm saying.
But
the oppressor and then your own people, they pushing that stuff on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But they don't allow it on the reservations. You ain't supposed to have alcohol and drugs and all that on the reservations. But when you destroy people, shit, what else they got to go to?
Well, that's what they do. A lot of them is on drugs, meth, and then they got on alcoholism. Right. Go ahead.
If I may, to piggyback off what y'all just said, you know what I'm saying? It's not easy for a people that's been broken and had their things taken away from them, to cope with that, you know what I'm saying? Especially when they got the wrong free from coast to coast, you know what I'm saying? They had to worry about, being held within invisible borders, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's just like blacks, Hispanics, and anywhere, you know what I'm talking about? They're gonna find a way to cope with that trauma, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is, that the drugs and the alcohol is a coping mechanism because of all the hurt that, the Native Americans have been through, you know what I'm saying? They ran this land and now they just, sat on reservations, you know what I'm saying, on reserve, you know what I'm talking about, and that'll break anybody, have anybody doing any and everything just to find some type of coping mechanism, all the way to having commit violence against themselves, you know what I'm saying? Suicide rate high too on the reservation as well because it's no solution to what they got going on except for being able to run free like they normally would back in there, in the times before the oppressor got to the spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lived good before the oppressor got here. Right. Very well. And he got here and oppressed them with that Egypt oppression, man. Egyptian oppression. Alright, let me see. I had to play this video. Y'all gonna find out why too.
Life on the reservation is filled with so much beauty, so little hope for Oglala Lakota families like the Belts.
For me, I think camping is like what you guys do, on weekends and something like this. We're living in it like every day.
Waylon traded a TV for this tiny home.
This is where we sleep. Me and us three sleep back there, and then the two boys sleep up here on the floor. There. Now we're in our boys' bedroom.
There's no running water, no electricity.
They said everything in here works, but we don't have a generator strong enough to work everything in here.
The kids are growing.
She's gonna be 3 this September.
And a small trailer just won't do.
Just something bigger. Because right now we're so crammed up in here.
From cramped spaces to the wide open range, hope is on horseback.
FEMA turned me down. I asked the tribe won't help me. This is my last resort.
Day after day, mile after mile, Waylon and his 9-year-old son,
Tommy, you're just having fun, aren't you?
ride down another long road, a journey that's part of a promise.
It's hard to put into words. It's been
A promise Dave Ventimiglia intends to keep.
it's been an epic trip.
Dave is leading this 350-mile trip from Boulder, Colorado to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota.
Ooh, a whole lot closer than we were 3 weeks ago.
This ride is for people like Waylon.
Whoever clicks their tongue, I'm gonna be dancing.
I think it's a beginning for a lot of new relationships, so that's a really good thing.
This ride
Because I feel like a lot of people have lost it here.
is for people like Lily Larby.
I'm a strong Oglala woman.
Lily sets up shop a couple times a week.
I'm just out here trying to provide.
More than 40,000 Oglala Lakota live
You know, these kids, they need clothes out here.
and struggle here on a reservation where a tattered American flag flies over people who need help.
So we're out.
So American flag is there, flying across, and you know, and right below there, you got everybody suffering and dying on that American flag. Go ahead.
So like, what my sister just said was so heavy, you know what I'm saying? And this is the selfishness and the arrogance of the black preacher. You know, I need $82 million, $85 million for a check. I'm gonna buy a $2.5 million mansion and add $5 million on to it to make it worth $20 million. I'm gonna buy my wife a Panamera, you know what I'm saying, at $250,000. You know what I'm saying? That money that our people who say they have Native American in their bloodline, if they would just take that money and set up a power grid for our Native American brothers and sisters, that would be a show to the Most High that we do have brotherhood amongst one another. But because of our leadership, so-called black leadership in America, you know what I'm saying, these pastors and these politicians, we'll never get where we need to be.
Good. And they taught us to separate ourselves from each other, but we need to separate from him. That's the one we need to separate from. That's where the whole issue of everything is. We've tried integration. Look, this is integration. This right here is integration. They integrated into their culture and their way of life, and look how they living. It's better living in damn teepees. Living it like this. No running water, just toilets, just there. I don't know how they getting them, cleaned out. So man, there's one part I want y'all to see on this.
We're suffering and just trying to do whatever we can to help ourselves.
2 miles down the road, Despair is a place, and
they writing signs saying idiots go home, cause they trying to, they don't trust them. They keep coming in all these promises and then take more from them.
has a face. White Clay, Nebraska, a town of 12 people and 4 liquor stores.
Alcoholism has taken so much out of my life, out of my childhood and my grownhood. It's taken.
Alcoholism is taking everything away from them, man. And us taking all being grown, their childhood, all that. Their parents was all getting drunk, and now they getting drunk. So they can't survive without the bottle because just look at this, man.
Everything.
There are no easy solutions to problems
Yeah,
that have festered.
Sign says legalize alcohol on the rest, because they don't have, like the brother was saying, they can't have alcohol, but yet it gets smuggled in.
Come.
This long, some.
What that say?
Salaki. Was it deaf white man?
Yep.
Damn right.
Damn right. You know my hands for that. They write sign. He won't deaf to the damn oppressor, man.
Damn right.
Well, we need to find out where these brothers is at. Shoot. For real, we need to find out where they at. Go ahead. Every flyer we give every school, boy.
Right.
Said death to the white man.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I ain't crying.
Sign Christ, sir.
So that's what I kind of wanted y'all to see that part. When I seen that, I was like, dang, they got some spirit back in them.
Yeah, come.
They got some spirit. They want to be separated, man. They don't want to be with them. They don't want them to come on their land at all. Because they see whenever they come, they bring in drugs, alcohol, all that. How's it getting there? They ain't got no cars. They got to go everywhere on the damn horse. And you got to feed the damn horse.
Right.
The horses look skinny as hell. And they eat grass. That's how poor it's getting, man. They got to go everywhere on horseback. And you wonder, and how the hell all these drugs get in there? Meth, how does meth get there?
Right.
Meth, you have to, like, make in a lab. And it stinks very badly.
Right.
They're like, it's like a strong odor. I mean, I've never smelled it personally, but I've heard that it has a terrible odor.
Come on, sir. I mean, it's a lot about me. That's the same thing for crack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All that. It's all being manufactured in a lab to destroy the children of Israel.
Exactly.
That's what they pump it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go to the white neighborhood, they snort powder. They ain't getting the time we get for a little crack rock. You know what I'm saying?
And like, not trying to compare because they're all drugs, but it's more natural to get the cocaine, the powder, than it is crack. Because crack is, you know, it's taking some,
take a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, a little bit of that, and it's
Cook it up a little bit.
It's taking some, what you call it, organic material, and mixing it with inorganic material. But meth is completely inorganic.
Yeah, ain't nothing. Right.
It's completely like made. Right? Like I said, it stinks. Like from there, you can smell it like a long way away, and it's dangerous.
That shit'll blow you up.
Yeah, I'm saying you get blown up in the meth lab. Blow you the hell up. So, somebody just say something on the conference call? Go ahead.
Y'all talking about the odors that come behind, all these different drugs. That odor is called death. If you go into the forest, you're going to smell the same thing. It's called death.
Yeah, I heard that it smells like a dead body. I heard that. I just couldn't remember. I thought I remember hearing that. But yeah, it smells terrible. Terrible. Right? Let's see where we at.
We're still wary of outsiders offering help.
We tried to wipe the Native Americans out. That's left deep wounds, and so helping those wounds heal and helping people come
That's what the white man tell you. He tried to wipe them out.
For me, that's what makes most sense.
Oh, we got semi-truck coming up the hill. Trust and hope are tied together on horseback. The riders collected $60,000 worth of donations to help families like Wayland's.
Slowly bringing up the rear.
Proving a promise can be kept.
It's not a magic cure, but I think people are like, oh, Dave actually followed through on that,
A 350-mile journey is a start.
Hope. See a lot of hope, that people do care,
Hope that life on the reservation can match the beauty that surrounds it.
And I ain't think it's hope because they got $60,000. In case, I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but they give Israel, about $1 billion or is it $1 trillion every year? It's at least $1 billion they give them a year to help them fight the Palestinians. They give them that much support. But if people on their own land, they give them zero. They don't give them zero money. Go ahead.
What you just brought out was so heavy, you know what I'm saying? And this the ignorance of our community and not being studied on what's going on. It's called the state of Israel. So if it's a state, that means it belongs to some kind of country somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And either it's British or American. And in order for America to give that amount of money, those laws have to be passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate and signed out by the president. You know what I'm saying? To even consider. So
the truth about what's going on. Alright. Alright, what's your name up?
Laurel.
Laurel?
Laurel.
How you spell it?
Laurel.
Laur, what?
El.
Yeah, okay.
Charles. I go by Charles usually. It's easier.
Gotcha. Alright, then Shalom up. You to what?
Wakana.
Sound great. Alright. I got one more video, man, just to show you there's still some spirit in these brothers, man. I just got one more video.
You don't think that anything he's doing is helping the situation? Is he an improvement over Stephen Harper? I mean, talk, I heard him.
Excuse me, did I just hear you correctly? How can he be blamed for that? Excuse me, don't speak to us that way.
Do not speak to us. We are human beings, and the way that you're speaking to us
It's not acceptable. No, stop it. Stop it right now.
We don't want you here. Can you please
Step out. Step out. Then I don't want to hear from you. You don't speak to us like that.
They trying to ask that somebody else, some other government official, did he do something? And they looking like, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see how we living, we trying to say something, and look how you doing us, man.
Nah, he ain't do shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this is the problem, the way you keep...
Go ahead, huh?
If I may, that little snippet that you just played, you know what I'm saying? I remember that like it was yesterday, seeing that, you know what I'm saying? Cause the way the woman interrupted with all types of arrogance, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Only her opinion matters, only what the American government says matters. That just shows you how much of a devil this oppressor is and how he uses people to, you know, further his cause, further his strategy against God's chosen people. So like y'all want.
Okay, that's what you have, man. They got such a pride on them that they be like, we donated $1,000 to you, but you took their land and made billions. You know, we gave you what do you want? We gave you a couple houses.
It's a lot of y'all want.
Go ahead.
If I may, that you ain't just take their land, you took their way of life.
Yeah.
You took everything from these people. Like, yeah, the land, okay, you take the land, but you destroyed these people completely.
Yep.
To where they don't even know who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
And then dress like them on Halloween.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a costume. Go ahead.
And then had the audacity, you know what I'm saying, they go back in the 30s, they had the audacity to sign a piece of paperwork with $5 to make them say
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nowhere in the world you can come and destroy a people and then blame the people for their destruction. And then on top of blaming them, you gonna sit there and act like the little trinkets that you hand out to them at work some. Like you said, you say they made billions. Let's look at trillions. You know what I'm saying? Trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars in just the slave trade. And just the slave trade. Then you top on the cotton trade, and then the oil boom, then the gold rush. All these different things that they done came on here and raped my brothers and my sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like that sign says, just to those brothers. A lot.
And even looking at how they treat the other nations, like when they ran up into Iraq and ran into Afghanistan, they paid millions out to rebuild these places and rebuild these cities, and they sit up here and play like, oh, because they give us welfare or they give us food stamps or something in terms of trying to hand it out to our community, that they doing something. You know, like, I don't want your handout first off, because what the little crumbs that they're giving, it was actually destroying our households. But then the fact that they look at it as though they're doing something for us. You know, when they rebuild these other countries, they're not rebuilding us. They take us down and keep us down. You know, so death to the oppressor, indeed.
Damn right. So like they build up everywhere. Build up Iraq. Build up Afghanistan. Rebuilt it. Said we gonna help those people. All of that, man. And then felt sad because what's the new group? The new ISIS or is ISIS? Whoever came back over there in
Ukraine.
No, it was before Ukraine. It was before Ukraine.
Oh, the
Taliban.
Taliban?
Yeah, like it's like the new Taliban. They came over there, right? As soon as they, blinked, they came back over and got rid of all the stuff America did, and they feel bad about it. Man, they got people in their own land that's living in similar, if not worse, conditions, and they won't give them nothing. Man, let me go back to this.
Indicate. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not arguing. No, stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. Stop.
She won't even stop.
Kipishchi. Mona kandoy na mitin chamani na miya. Asha washkat katos chamani na minan. Gigas chakash ko hono e mani na miya. Tapos ko cha e kain na nuya. E kwan e ispanik. E kwan magamosha ko may tastako siyak. Tapos ko cha e gas chaka kipat na siyak. You're a guest here, and you don't even know how to speak to us. You don't even recognize the tone in your voice and your delivery. And no, you're done. You're done. Next question.
I'll re-ask this question. How do you think? Yes. How do you think?
You better be respectful.
I'm being totally respectful. I'm asking how Justin Trudeau's record compared to Stephen Harper's record. Do you think he's improved the situation? I think that's what he was asking.
We have a holistic genocide happening here.
Genocide.
And I can speak for myself. You know what, white people, you've had your voice here for 524 years. 524 years you've been visible, white lady. You've been visible for 524 years. Look how fast your white man comes and steps up for you. Where is everybody else to come and step up for us? I have a right to my voice. I'm still fighting for my voice and my visibility. And I'm telling you right now, there has been 524 years of holistic genocide on Turtle Island. We're the ones that are dying. It's not you that is dying.
Right. That's right.
And as far as how Justin Trudeau is doing, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is we're asking the United Nations to help us, that charges of genocide, a war against humanity, war crimes, and a crime of aggression be laid. Because your Liberal Party was also responsible. Every party, every governance that has been in power. There's been a war conflict of Indian Residential School, 60 Scoop, Indian Day School, and Millennium Scoop. None of your governments have clean hands. All your governments have blood on their hands. None of you are different. You haven't changed because you haven't started your healing journeys. The moment that we have a voice in our backbone, you want to shut us down. And you think you're privileged to disrespect us. The moment we tell you, because of your colonial mindset and your colonial way of being, your white privilege, white fragility, you can't take our truth.
Look
how many people came to back.
So like she damn near can't, don't it? Shit. Boy. It's like a camp speaker, don't it?
Right.
That's right. In, boy. I'm like, dang. I think it's almost over. We gotta go say
Are you a white lady? And you're a guest here. Without us, you'd be homeless. This is over.
So I got one.
Get us You might walk away and say shalom. It says shalom. This is over. Disrespect. You a guest here. They is guests.
Right.
And they treating, that's what I'm saying. That's like, I even think I said something about, like, that's like somebody coming to your house and, oh yeah, like they'll come into your land and rename it. That's like, you know, you come in the house of MashaAllah, I say, yo, this now house of Yahweh right now. Look around, yeah, this all me right here. That's what they do, man. They take their stuff and rename it. They the guests. Boy, that takes some pride right there. Go name somebody else stuff? They already got a name for it. Man, I said even one time, like I was watching a documentary. This one I used to think about, like, after we was African and all of that. And I seen that they had, like, I like, cause you know, like, I like to see, like, different documentaries about how other people live, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was watching them, man, and they went over there, when they found this waterfall in Africa, they named it Queen Elizabeth's Waterfall. How the hell you gonna name somebody else's stuff, man? And then put it on the map like that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Like they had their own name.
Right.
Well, that is some pride. Like, how do you even, like, you should be like, oh, what do you call this place? Okay, cool, that's what we gonna call it. No. This is Queen Elizabeth's waterfall. And the broad lived 1,000 miles from there. Ain't never even seen it.
Right.
Right.
He gonna name it after her.
Right.
Well, I tell you, man, these devils is like, man, I can't begin to, like, this how devilish they is, man.
All right.
Well,
If I may, I got a precept on what you just said and what the sister just said in the video. If I
go
may.
ahead. Go ahead.
It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 4.
Oh, damn, I just was there a second ago. Go ahead.
Go thou exalt thyself as the eagle,
Mm-hmm.
and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, says the Most High.
Mm-hmm. Read the next one again. This one I read earlier, right? Go ahead.
Okay.
Read the next one. Y'all, you done?
Verse 5. If thieves came to thee.
So he said, if thieves came to you, if a thief come to you, right? Keep going.
If robbers by night.
If robbers came to you by night, right? Keep going.
How was I cut off?
How was I cut off? So he's talking about how he's going to cut off Esau, right? Keep going.
Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
He said, wouldn't they have stolen till they got enough? Man, okay, you got 30 TVs, okay. I only need 3. You know what I'm saying? I don't need all 20 TVs, man. I don't need everything. I just need a little bit for substance, right? And then even when we was reading about when the natives, they went over there, they was trying to get substance, they trying to get food. That's why they was raiding them, to get food, supplies, shelter, all of this. And is there more on that up? Keep going.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Would they leave some grapes? Damn.
Yeah, you brought that out of why that's heavy though.
Damn.
Right.
They leave something. They don't leave nothing, man. They got a reservation that they put them on. And what did they do on the reservation? They found out it was gold there. So guess what? They went on back on their reservation. Right? But then they killed one of the brothers for leaving his reservation, trying to get his wife, or it was a woman in his life, I can't remember which one. It was his wife or his mother, trying to give her some medical assistance. And they killed him. Yeah. That's where that term off the reservation came from. Nobody understood. Nobody ever knew that. That's where that comes from. He's off the reservation. That means that they wanted the Native Americans to stay on the reservation, even though they can come onto the reservation whenever they felt like it, but they wanted them to stay on it at all times. So, man, like I said, this devil here, boy.
It's a lot y'all want from me.
Go ahead.
Like, that's kind of like, you know how they do black people with red lining? They want you to stay in the hood. They don't want you to go nowhere else.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. I mean, you know, it's on a different scale, but that's how they do us. They try to keep us confined in a certain area, just like they do our brothers and sisters on the reservation.
Right.
It's a lot.
The exact same way. Like I said earlier, like they had like how come if there's no job somewhere you can work and earn money, there's always drugs finds its way over there.
Right.
How does that happen? They won't let them off the reservation, even on horseback. So how the drugs getting there?
Right.
How's it getting there?
Right.
They not bringing it. They won't let them off the reservation.
Right.
They getting high. They getting drunk because they can't even have alcohol on the reservation.
Mm-hmm.
You know that? How they getting it? The devils is bringing it over there.
Right.
And selling it to them. Boy, I tell you. Well, this ain't nothing you can do with this devil. He has got to die. He got to be destroyed. He just got to.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing else you can do, man. I'm trying to get to what I was trying to say. Go ahead.
If I may, could I pull one more precept?
Go ahead.
Just listening to that sister, you know what I'm saying, speak of peace, you know what I'm saying, and how she said it, you know what I'm saying, in that same book of Obadiah, verse 15, it says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
It needs to be destroyed. They need to be sitting out there starving, living in basically a house, probably got pee, smell like pee everywhere. Y'all ever notice, like, how come, like in the hood, right? Have you ever seen somebody take a piss in the hood, like out, like in the hallways and on the elevators? Have you ever seen that? I think a comedian brought that out. He said, how the hell do they have to pee? How they all smell like piss? Right. He said what they come pre-pissed on? I think it was a comedian said that they come pre-pissed on. He said, I've been like, he used to about the elevators in New York. He said, I've never seen anybody pee in them.
Right.
It's a locky I don't want. That be their hair. Like, that shit smell like pee. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it might be, I don't know.
It be they fucking, it's a locky. It be they, you know, once they get wet, it's over with.
Exactly. I don't know what, but it's like come pre-pissed on. That's what he's saying. And that's crazy. How come it just smells like hell? Smells like hell.
It's a locky I don't want. They don't even like soap. They like, you know how black people, you know, we get a dish, we get a rag and we just wash everywhere and do everything. They don't do that. They just go in there and sprinkle water on their face. You know what I'm saying? And that's why y'all stink. It's a lot.
Exactly. Can you go to somebody get Deuteronomy 33 and 20 for me?
Come on, sir. Deuteronomy, Salaki, Deuteronomy what?
33 and 20.
Khan. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 20. And of the Gad said, blessed be that enlargeth Gad.
So, Most High said, blessed who enlargeth Gad. But the Most High, it's like, our oppressor, he didn't know enlarge Gad. He destroyed Gad, right? So he can't be blessed. Keep going.
Khan. Gad, he dwelleth as a lion.
Yep.
And terroreth,
keep going.
And teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
I'm trying, it's like on the tip of my tongue what does actually mean. But I know us talking about his enemies. I know that. He tears the arm with the crown of his head. He tears his. Go ahead.
If I may, I'm still young, used to get this precept and used to break down them scalping the enemy, the Native American scalping the enemy. So like they'll pull their arm back, and when they got their arm pulled back,
Yep, that's right, that's right. Yep, that's right. So he tear up the arm with the crown of his head. So he would scalp his enemies, right? Keep going.
Verse 21. And he provided the first part of himself, because there in a portion of the lawgiver was he seated, and he came.
So this say telling you that like Gad kept more of the law than all of the a lot of the other northern tribes. He kept more of the law. Like he had the ribbon of blue with the fringes. He was like the more, like they all was, they all got into idolatry, but he kept more of the laws. Like they had like their diet. They still kept the the dietary law. What else? They kept like the marriage laws. They kept a lot of the different laws. They were like the lawgiver, right? Because they were the only ones, like everybody else kind of just fell all the way off. They kind of kept the law to themselves. Keep going.
And he came with the heads of the people. He executed
the heads of the people. He came. He destroyed it. Keep going.
He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel.
So he executed that, man. They had punishments for brothers that fell off and did other things. They used to police themselves, right? You need to find this. They used to police themselves. They didn't need our oppressor to police them. Right. They policed. We read stories about how when they went and tried to they killed at least 2 of them that we didn't just read today for resisting arrest.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like when you resist arrest, they kill you. If it's an oppressor, he resists arrest, they try to apprehend him. Right? And the one thing that killed me, I said about the other day, is that I watched that devil that came and shot up at the Buffalo
supermarket.
The supermarket. They had the nerve to blurt out his face. But Mike Brown, when he got killed by that cop, they showed him laying in the damn ground. They didn't even cover him up. Left him there for hours.
It's a lot, y'all.
Go ahead.
Then that devil, I guess he pleaded not guilty.
Exactly, not guilty. What did he say? What Zephaniah said? They our president slayed us, and they hold themselves not guilty. He said, "I'm not guilty. I ain't do it." We seen you do it. You uploaded it on Twitch. He uploaded it on Twitch. He made it like a video game.
Right.
He drove 5-6 hours to get there. Yeah. He drove to the reservation. Basically, it was a black-owned place. And then when he came, he seen the other little devil boy or whatever there that was hot. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he came, he walked right past him and went start killing some other black and Hispanic people, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So that's another topic, though. That ain't even nothing about history, but that's hell right there. That's just what we living in, hell. They don't care who they love killing us. Because it was like a book that I remember I read or heard about or something like that. It was a book that this person, he was a hunter, right? He got tired of hunting deer. He got tired of hunting, bear, all of the other animals that was supposed to be the best. So then he started hunting people, because he said people, they can rationalize, the animals can't, they go by instinct. So he wanted to hunt people. That was a new challenge. That's us. He likes hunting us. He like the more of a challenge for him to hunt, because he's already a cunning hunter, right? So he wants to hunt us. This is what appeases him, hunting black people. Right?
So like if I may, wasn't there a movie with Ice-T? He was like homeless or something, and they set him up to be that person that they hunted, and it was like a group of white people that went and hunted him and made him like have to fend for his life. You seen that?
I don't remember seeing that, but I think the name of it was The Most Dangerous Game. That's what I think the name of the movie was. I think it was called The Most Dangerous Game.
Just to bring a precept out of what you were saying, Yahanna. Book of Lamentations, chapter 4, and verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets.
Can't even go on their streets, man. Keep going.
Come on. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
Our end is come. That's how they was feeling, man. They ain't even, like, even on the reservations, they would come over there and kill them, right? Because they knew, because they start, like, they can't even go on these streets because there's nothing there anyway. They can't get food. They gotta travel 150 miles to go to Rapid City, South Dakota to get something to eat.
Right.
Sure, that's a long way. And Rapid City, Dakota is like Augusta. Like, it's not nothing there. It's not big.
Right.
Yeah, I've been through Rapid City. It's not big at all. It's just like a major city that you blink and you out of. It's not big. They had to go way down there to get food, man. Rapid City, South, North, can't remember which one. I think it's North Dakota. But yeah, over there, if you go, I wish I would've took some pictures when I went through that reservation, man. It was a sad sight. They was living in projects, man. Projects. And we think they living good because you think of them owning casinos. They don't own those casinos. Those was devils.
Right.
They own those casinos.
Right.
All right. Anything else? Anybody wanna bring out any questions at all?
Salaki Adawan, it was called Surviving the Game. So that might have been even a book that you would read, you know, seeing if they had a book for it.
Put in The Most Dangerous Game. That probably is
Most
it.
Dangerous Game.
I think that's
That's exactly what it was called.
Yeah.
A short story. If this movie was based on a short story, The Most Dangerous Game.
Yep.
That movie is based on exactly what you was talking about with I.S.U.P.K.
That's what they would do. They would get the homeless people, the people that they felt as though they was invalids, right? Lower class people, which of course is us.
Right. And
they will go and hunt us, right? Go ahead. Yeah, he was just saying that. You probably didn't hear him, but he was talking about that movie. But yes, it was based on a story called The Most Dangerous Game. So, but that's what they do. They want to hunt us because that's like the new game. They already done hunted, you know. You see them taking pictures of them killing lions and all of that. Water buffalo, all of that. Now they want to kill Negroes, man. They want to kill us. They remember they hang us. They'll be all taking pictures of us while we on fire, smiling at the camera. Yeah, picnics means pick a nigga. The hang. So, all right. Anything else somebody want to bring out? Any questions? All right. With that, pass the class over to prison officer Marshall.
All right, Adawan. Good class. I always bring out them heavy classes. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're gonna do the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. Where the I.S.U.P.K started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10. My Ishra means 10th in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We're still in the Feast of First Fruits. Remind Akim and Akwat to check the bulletin board. In the hallway, if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, scarves, and to Google address every time they are heading to the school. And with that, we'll give the teacher a courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amijah, Shabbat, Amijah, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshabarakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshabarakatah.
Yamatah, hands down, class dismissed.